Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Buddha. So I'd like to introduce a brief Dhamma. People often are caught on the guilt of meditation because they're not taking care of other people, and it's often levelled at meditators that are being selfish. Often people are quickly out and want to do service and help everybody else. So the Buddha gave a teaching about this, and he did a simile that I want to share with you. Acrobats. Looking after oneself, thus one looks after others. Looking after others, thus we look after the self. So let's look at some images which illustrate this point. It's an extraordinary shot high up in New York. Now if one were to be fussing and advising the others and trying to help them, it would all fall apart, they would all plunge to their death. But simply by focusing on their own balance and centering on self-control, all three of them can achieve this. And this is, I find, amazing how did they do that? Quite amazing. One by one by one by one. Interconnected, interdependent. Interconnected and interdependent. Looking after oneself, one looks after others. Looking after others, one looks after oneself. Sedaka Sutta. Sedaka is a place in the Sangnuta Nikaya. And how does one, when watching after oneself, watch after others? Through pursuing the practice, through developing it, through devoting oneself to it. This is how one when watching after oneself, one watches after others. And how does one, when watching after others, watch after oneself? Through endurance, through harmlessness, and through a mind of kindness and sympathy. This is how one, when watching after others, watches after oneself. A frame of reference. It's not a very good translation. Mindfulness is to be practiced with the thought, I'll watch after myself. Mindfulness is to be practiced with the thought, I'll watch after others. When watching after oneself, one watches after others. When watching after others, one watches after oneself. So here we see the Pali. It's a good idea sometimes to look at what it originally looked like and find what the translator used as well. And how does one, when watching after oneself, watch after others? Katanja bhikkhave atanam rakanto parang rakati. So my name is Rakkhita. So this is the same verb, rakanto, protection, to guard after others. Katanja bhikkhave, monks. And how monks? Atanam, myself. Rakanto, parang is the highest, rakati, protection. Asevanaya, bhavanaya, in pursuing the practice, asevanaya. Bhavanaya, like we saw with the tree, cultivation, bhavanaya. Bahuli kamena, bahu means many. Through devoting oneself to it. Ewan ko bhikkhave, atanang rakanto parang rakati. That's how you make it your highest self-protection. Katanja bhikkhave parang rakanto atanang rakati. So how does one, when watching after others, watch after oneself? Kantiya is causes through endurance. Kantiya is also like patience. Kanti parami. Kantiya through patience. Avihimsaya, harmlessness. Metta chittataya, with a loving heart of loving kindness. Anudayataya, because there's sympathy, anudaya. Ewan ko bhikkhave parang rakanto atanang rakati atanang bhikkhave. Rakisamiti satipatanam So this is what it means: protection through satipatthana, protection through vipassana practice. Sevitabam parang rikasameti satipatthana sevitabam atana yukavamsa. That's where we find it in the Samyutta Nikaya. In the Satipatthana group, Nalanda Bhagavad Sedaka Sutta. So that's how to use that. And there's the they both access to Insight version and the digital Pali Reader version side by side. Just taking a screenshot of them. There's a useful way to work with these. To also, sometimes you think, well, what's he translating that? How did he get that? What's that? A frame of reference? What do you mean by that? So this way you can look into the Pali and then actually unpeel it for yourself. You know, you don't have to rely on the translator so much. There you go. So that's the. One of them is called Frying Pan. Quite amusing, and it's a little, the little leading story to it about it. The Blessed One said, once upon a time, amongst a bamboo acrobat having erected a bamboo pole up in the air, or there, addresses his Frying Pan, like comic name. It's like a bit slapstick comedy, this sort of thing, like a bit sort of Charlie Chaplin. Come, my dear Frying Pan, climb up the bamboo pole and stand on my shoulders. As you say, master, Frying Pan answered the bamboo acrobat, and climbing the bamboo pole stood on his shoulders. So then the bamboo acrobat said to his assistant, now you watch after me, my dear Frying Pan, I'll watch after you, and thus protecting one another, watching after one another, we'll show off our skill, receive our reward, and come down safely from the bamboo pole. And when he'd said this, Frying Pan said to him, but that won't do at all, master. No, you watch after yourself, and I'll watch after myself. And thus, with each of us protecting ourselves, watching after ourselves, we will show off our skill, receive our reward, and come down safely from the bamboo pole. What Frying Pan, the assistant, said to her master was the right way in this case. In this case, but it's not categorically always the case. So from a simple principle like this, the Buddha illustrates in this kind of nice, comfortable little story. And that's what in India, when I did a Google search on Indian acrobats, and I found that they actually do this go around, do kind of acrobatics and like that. Good, so it's a nice little dharma for you. So it's something to reflect about for people who are too addicted on helping everybody else and they neglect to just learn to center themselves and learn to balance their own energy. And you find out that has the effect of rippling out and affecting and calming down everyone else. So wish you well in your practice.